Hello there, Dan the Weatherman here. Hey, welcome to my weather show. This is the global edition where I take a look at things across the world. And as I was putting this together this week, there's loads of things going on. I'll try and keep it pretty short, but when you start seeing some of this stuff, it's always the same problem as well. Cut-off lows causing problems. This time of year, we're heading into meteorological summer for the Northern Hemisphere, and it's really starting to heat up. Where you see that orange, those are temperatures well above normal, and we just get more oomph with the weather these days. That is northern parts of Europe, Scandinavia, some 5, 10, 15 degrees above normal. Very warm for western parts of the US and even into Siberia. Much warmer than normal. But I want to zoom into parts of Europe because places in Europe, extreme northern Europe, that don't really get that warm have been just off the scale. That big blood red colour there. Extreme northern Scandinavia, and of course any of the kids, they go, of course, talk Father Christmas. What do you do in the winter? You go and visit Father Christmas at Lapland. They've got their board shorts on. I can put money on it, of course. Santa's helpers have probably got their board shorts because temperatures over the last several days over parts of Lapland, northern Finland, have been, if you look at some of these temperatures, 30 degrees for the high temperatures. They should normally be 15, 16, well above. And you think, well, how is that possible? It's always down to the extremes. Cut-off lows and big blocking highs. So this is the Northern Hemisphere, and I put on the streamline showing the jet stream carrying the weather systems. This is North America, that's Europe, and you look at the ups, when you've got a big up, a ridge, you're getting warm air surging in. That's the case there with an up across much of Europe. That's why it's been so warm over Lapland and much of northern Scandinavia. This is energy, the yellow there, a good push of energy, and that's going to buckle the jet stream and change it. So things will change this week. The warm over the western US, that's going to change. And let's put it into motion and I'll show you how things go. Remember the big up, the big ridge? That's going to slowly change as the system brushes by the British Isles, the blue, and then cools them down over northern Scandinavia late week. Whereas for America, look at this, and western Canada, finally some rain for western areas, but that warmth will shift its way further east as well. It's been fine for much of northern Europe. I've mentioned the heat. Look at these. That's of course the system there. They've had the typical showers across the continent. And running through the week, watch what happens. Very settled westerly flow for the British Isles, so temperatures in the 20s in places to upper teens. Flicking fronts from Ireland, western parts of Scotland, but it doesn't really change. You've got showers to the interior. The real change when that big upper ridge breaks down is from this system. Later in the week, brushes by the British Isles and cools down the far north, but everywhere else, it's pretty much as you were. Now, things have really been changing across parts of North America. This is, I know it's looking psychedelic, but this is North America. The white and the blue bits are the cloud, the red and yellow showing some of the lower cloud, and then of course the land, and that getting that really darker color there is the heat over the desert southwest. And this is quite a swirl here. Storm system moving into parts of the Gulf Coast into Texas. And then that was the big zone of strong winds in the jet stream moving across the northern Pacific. So you go, oh, okay, what does that mean? Let's look at North America, another crazy map. But this is the warmth in the mid-levels, that's the jet stream. This is much of the US, Mexico. And I'm pointing this out because remember that big system coming in? That's because of an upper low, feeding in moisture and giving some oomph to squeeze it out. Whereas the warmth from Mexico is keeping it very hot and dry over the southwestern US. That will change though over the course of this week. Looking at the pressure map for the US again, there's your rain, dry, and of course they're extreme drought for western parts of the US, but that will change with that big buckle in the jet stream over the course of this week. Look at this. That's the wetter weather moving in from Texas right the way towards parts of Tennessee. Quite a dumping of rain, some 100 millimeters or more. Still dry, and triple-digit heat for places like Arizona all the way up to Nevada. Until late week, you get that change, the upper trough finally bringing maybe some rain into California and the Pacific Northwest. A little bit's coming in, but we're still a little bit too early for the summertime thunderstorms and the shift with that heat across parts of the US. That's your rainfall for the week there. Very wet there, the colours, that's over 100 millimeters from Texas to parts of Tennessee. There's the wetter weather finally coming in, but you see, still pretty dry and hot over parts of the desert southwest. Quick little check on India. Monsoon, it's like knocking on the door for India. This is it here, and you look at the clouds and they're just little bits of not much. The monsoon is of course when you have low level winds like that, higher winds like that, boom, brings them, but it's not quite connected the dots. And you say, well, it should do, and they're waiting for it, but this is the upper flow, a little bend of a system here, that's India. So that is causing the flow to be a bit more just weird. It's not quite there, but through the week they'll get more of the typical flow aloft that way, lower down there to help the clouds and storms grow and connect the dots and get the monsoon going for parts of India, but it's still kind of knocking on the door right now. One last stop, checking out much of New Zealand and Australia. Australia's in for quite a dumping of rain to the southeastern areas and for northern New Zealand. That will be the case through the course of the week. And just watch this. It's cut off lows again, lows that sit and spin. Look at that guy there. That's over 100 millimetres of rain, could be the risk of some slips. It does ease across New Zealand, and then another guy winds in. Heavy persistent rain, snowy mountains get some snow. That could be some flooding as well. Extreme eastern parts of Victoria and also New South Wales, all down to cut-off lows. It finally fades through the course of the week, but as usual, the weather is up to its tricks in places. That's the weather for now. See you guys soon. Bye-bye.